and a two, and away we go. First of all, mea culpa to all of those of you watching and listening to us, because we switched it up on you. We pulled an old switcheroo.
We pulled a switcheroo. I was the one that suggested it this time, too.
Ashley, I'm literally pulling up our conversation because you put it so succinctly. The week was long, folks. The week was long, and we got down to, I don't know, Thursday sometime probably. I messaged Ashley, and I said, hey, how's that reading coming, friend? And Ashley's like, I'll probably finish tonight.
And by that I meant I was going to start and finish that night.
So I had done better than that, to be fair. I was like 2 or 3 chapters into this section.
Yeah.
But still, I was like, to be very frank with y'all, in the big 2025, as my son keeps calling it, which
I love
I'm like, the big 2025. Okay. Anyway.
He's right. That's it.
Y'all, it's hard to muster energy to discuss the big house folks, and old Tarquin in Blackwood Farm is definitely big house folks. We're going to get there. It's a good book. We're enjoying it.
We are. We're having a great time.
This week in particular, though, I was looking for an excuse, and Ashley gave me one.
I did. I was like, hot quick. Look, listen, I was up until like 1:30 in the morning Central Time, keeping an eye on Los Angeles, because my thing was like, if something fucking happens, I'm going to make sure I'm watching it with my own 2 eyes so someone can't tell me that something happened that I did not fucking see.
You said it, sister. And I just keep thinking, they made all of y'all read 1984 too, right? Like, y'all remember the line, the last greatest rule of the state is don't believe your eyes, believe what you're told. Anyway, listen, here's the message that I got. I said, hey, I'm doing the rally on Saturday. Ashley's like, yeah, us too. Okay, cool. So it'll be nighttime when we record on Saturday. Maybe we try to squeeze it in Friday, but Friday wasn't going to work because we weren't going to be able to finish the movie. This is what Ashley said, though. I said, you got a show Saturday night? Is Saturday night a problem? She said, I don't. My weekend's pretty open, except for protesting fascism. Ladies and gentlemen, if you weren't protesting fascism this week, wherever you are, and you're
in some small way, in some way, whatever that way is for you, it doesn't mean everyone has to be out. It doesn't
that can mean you keep the kids.
Yeah, that could mean that you're keeping an eye on what's happening in the fucking world right now. It could mean that you are supporting your friends online. It could mean any of those things. Resistance takes many, many forms, and we are fucking here for it because we are the Star Wars generation, and we know the goddamn Empire when we fucking see it, and it's marching tanks in Washington right now to what? Metallica songs? Metallica music? Metallica's gonna sue the shit out of them.
I had an argument online today.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go on that rant so hard.
No, I'm glad you did. I had an argument online today with a gentleman, with a jerk that was complaining and moaning and pissing and whining about photos of a peaceful protest in our town. And I don't know what the comment was, but he made some crack about, brainwashed idiots or something. And I just clicked his profile, and his fucking cover image was Andor. And I'm like,
you don't know that you're the baddie. Oh, buddy.
Did you root for Cyril? You fucking nitwit. Anyway,
Look,
okay.
The only time you should have been rooting for Cyril was when he was having to deal with his fucking horrible mother.
I guess we joked on our Facebook group the other day. I put up a post from somebody that was like Captain America fighting Nazis and talking about how he's known some good people that have been turned as vampires. He's never known a good Nazi. I said, yeah, Remick and Captain America agree. It's vampires, then Nazis on the evil scale. Vampires, Nazis, maybe evil mother-in-laws.
Yeah.
Notch below, maybe.
or horrible religious mothers.
Okay. Anyway, mea culpa that we switched it up on you.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
But it's a movie night, folks. We talking about a cool-ass vampire movie this week. The Hunger from 1983.
Welcome to the Articulate Coven.
the original, unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Immortal Universe, The Vampire Chronicles, Lives of the Mayfair Witches, and the Immortal Universe TV series from AMC and AMC+. The Articulate Coven is Ashley and Joel, but it's supported by listeners just like you. Find out more at articulatecoven.com/join. We are the Articulate Coven. Welcome to the Articulate Coven. We're your hosts. I'm Joel.
Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven.
There's something in my fucking eye. It's going to drive me crazy this whole time. Sorry, y'all. If you're watching,
you do your thing.
It's allergies.
First of all, I want to go backwards a little bit before we get into this movie in particular. And I want to read a couple of pieces of feedback on the last couple of episodes. There's a really good one that I started to mention this week, but genuinely it is about the book, so we're going to save it. But I have to eat so much crow over the entire title of our last episode about Blackwood Farm. We'll discuss that next week.
Oh, shit.
All right. I was shocked. I was so taken aback.
My God, what's happened?
So first of all, from a couple of episodes ago, this is our 100th episode live stream episode.
We had a good time. That was very fun.
B1337 commented, we had discussed a piece of feedback from them, and they said, great episode, so fun to be even tangentially part of the clubhouse by listening along. My username isn't a leet reference. I saw 1337 and thought that's leet, right? 1337 is the word leet turned upside down in numbers, which is, I don't know, it's some sort of computer jockey reference. I don't even know what leet means, but I know that it's a thing that people used to say. 1337 is that. They say, no, it wasn't a leet reference. It's just one suggested by YouTube when I wasn't feeling very creative.
I love it. I love it.
I love that YouTube made a leet joke for you. Also, I agree. The Queen of the Damned film soundtrack is not good. Can't wait for the new album to blow it out of the water. And I said, yes. I try not to yuck people's yum. I really do.
You do. But it's not your jam.
I know y'all like it, but that Queen of the Dead soundtrack is not Queen of the Damned soundtrack.
You're kind of in the minority on that,
yes,
and it's nice to have. It's nice to have someone agree with you. You know, like everyone needs a little bit of support now and again.
Listen, when you tell me that we're going to get, sure, but when you tell me that we're going to get like singer, songwriter, pop, glam, Broadway Lestat.
That's much more. That's much more up Joel's alley.
That's my shit. My shit.
Perfectly designed.
Right? Oh no, I closed the wrong window. Don't you hate when you do that? All right, let me get the little history button here. It's in there somewhere, Ashley.
It's there somewhere.
Okay.
Don't pull up something not suitable for work, Joel.
I'm glad I'm not sharing my. Oh, first of all, I do want to say Jolie commented on. Yes, Jolie commented on our scheduling change on the Patreon. I mentioned that we were going to do The Hunger this week, and also that you needed to get out there and attend your local protest and then come enjoy Sexy Vampires with us. Jolie said, be safe and hate Nazis. And yes, friends, both those things accomplished today. So all good. Ashley, while I'm looking up this second piece of feedback, you and I talked for just a second before we started recording, but briefly, how did things go in your neck of the woods? Did everything go peaceful? You didn't have any...
Yeah.
There were a lot of law enforcement agents across the country that were looking to make a statement today, I think. You heard all of this bravado about...
Well, our governor's a fucking moron, and she had popped off about California, and then Newsom reminded her that Arkansas has double the homicide rate of fucking California, and she shut up pretty quick about that.
So significantly more dangerous to live in Louisiana or Arkansas than it is to live in downtown Los Angeles. It's more dangerous.
Fucking real.
Like, come on now. Anyway.
Yeah.
But no incidents.
No, and we had great turnout. I didn't go to the march portion because it was like on a bridge. Look, listen, I'm not gonna spend 2 hours on a bridge. That just feels like you're asking for an issue. So of some variety, I don't know what. That could be a crowd crush issue. That could be somebody has a little too much and decides they want to dive into the Arkansas River. I don't know, but I don't know that I need to be present for it. But yeah, really great turnout. Lots of people. There were tons of folks downtown supporting. I mean, it was really, really great. The vibe in town, the vibe in Little Rock is always really good, actually. And I mean, our cops are pretty respectful of protest and things like that. Like, I mean, during COVID, we had our Black Lives Matter protest. The cops were like, "We didn't shoot any tear gas," and I was like, "I live a mile. It was in my house. I lived a mile from the Capitol at that time." I was like, "Not only did I see it, but I smelled it. It was in my home throughout the evening that night." So, but for the most part, like, cops here get what we're doing and are supportive. At least if they're not supportive, they're not openly hostile. But yeah, so it was a good day in Little Rock for a lot of it. A lot of people got overheated. It was really fucking hot.
It's funny, Ashley, me being, I guess in this case, an optimist, when you said the cops said, "Oh, we didn't shoot any tear gas," I thought you were saying they were patting themselves on the back.
Like,
we did
"Oh,
so
we
good.
didn't
We didn't
shoot
shoot any tear gas today.
No.
I'm like, that would be a low bar, sir.
Yeah.
No, they did, in fact. They just didn't own it. Look
They
at that.
just didn't own it. Yeah, but no, there was
none
nothing.
Of that today. Good.
None of that today. Like, everything was totally chill. The march went. So Little Rock and North Little Rock are on either sides of the Arkansas River. We marched up the river, across the river and back, and then did a rally at the end. So it was a good turnout and lots of folks turning up and out. Lots of good support just in our downtown area in general. A lot of seeing support of local businesses too. Just, it brought a lot of people out and had a lot of people investing in our community, which was cool to see.
So I live in a small town. I think without the university, I think it's like, I don't know, 12, 15,000 people, something like that in this city. And this city, even though it's a university town, voted overwhelmingly in the last election for Donald Trump. This parish, we have parishes, not counties here. I think it was like a 60-40 vote basically last time, 60-38 or something like that.
We're like the brightest blue blob in
the
Arkansas,
only one in Arkansas, basically,
you know,
right?
like,
it's like you and
it's us at Pine Bluff. Well, and they're not even like up in Fayetteville and Bentonville. There's so much money up there now. They're not as liberal as they once were. So yeah, we're the stronghold down here in Little Rock.
That is our problem in Ruston as well.
Yeah,
Ruston,
there's
Louisiana,
a lot
Lincoln
of
Parish,
money there.
It's the highest rate per capita of millionaires in the state of Louisiana is in Lincoln Parish, and it's one of the highest per capita in the whole United States. It's very wealthy area. Also, though, the median income here is like less than $30,000. So that shows you the wealth disparity in my neck of the woods. So in a town where overwhelmingly that fucking guy won last time, and the time before that, and the time before that, in fact, they voted for him all three. You wouldn't think that the turnout would be good. We had somewhere between 200 and 250. It was at least 200 people there easily. I mean,
that's
I counted,
awesome.
200 people, but there were probably closer to 250 there. We had a really good turnout. Former State Senator Bill Jones spoke and did an excellent job. We didn't really do a march. Like, they walked back and forth on the sidewalk in front of the building where we were for just a few minutes. But the rally was only permitted for like an hour.
Yeah.
And the speakers lasted almost that long. So we ended up having like 5 minutes to march at the end of the thing. There were it was literally 200, 250 people there for the rally. There were 6 Trumpers across the street with like 2 giant Trump flags and a picture of him.
Bless.
I'm going to say this thing and then we'll move on from today's rallies, other than to say the next time that somebody in your neighborhood puts one of these things together, show up. And if you can't physically show up for whatever reason, whether that be a safety concern or a physical issue or whatever, then offer support in some other way. You can send $10 for gas money. You can watch the kids while they stay at home to be safe for the rally.
Donate for their water stations.
Yes, buy a big case of water and send with them. Whatever it is, yeah.
Just a lot of ways that you can contribute if you want to, and you don't know how. There's a lot of ways to do it.
My 17-year-old, though, was at the rally with me.
That's good.
And he turns and look. We thought about not bringing the kids at all because we were a little worried about, what potentially could happen or how it could escalate. I mean, our police station has a thin blue line image painted on the back of it, for instance. That happened with the new police chief, which is its own sore spot. But regardless, we ended up taking them. I'm like, it's a small town. We've planned an exit. I was like, listen, if something happens, we will tell you to do this. This is where you'll go. And both of y'all just go there and don't worry about anything else. Don't let anybody stop you. You'll be fine then. And then we'll catch up with you later. Both of you have your phones, et cetera, whatever. Anyway, but my 17-year-old's there. He's enjoying himself. He's walking around. He's got a great sign. His sign said, it was a picture of, I'll put an image in the video if I can, but it was a picture of Beaker from the Muppets. And it said, the only orange Muppet that I trust with science.
Yes. Oh my God. That's amazing.
That's a good one,
love
right?
it. Yeah, that's a really good one.
Kelly, my wife, made all the signs for us, and they were all great. One said T-Rexes are greater than tyrants, and it had like a T-Rex crushing a crown. Mine, the one she made for me, had the eagle hatching out of the egg from 1776 with the British flag on it. And then it said no king since 1776, and 1776 was in the font from the musical. It was like, Ben would be so proud.
Kelly,
anyway,
way to go. Way to fucking do it up.
She really knocked it out of the park. But my son, though, was looking around, and he was looking over at this group of like 6 Trumpers. It literally looked like a dude noticed that we were having a rally and called his family, and they all showed up in another van to hang out and yell Trump at us from across the street. But he said, Dad, I just noticed something. Like, all of our signs, meaning the people that were at the No Kings rally, all of our signs have a message. They're about something. There were people that were defending the arts, people that were defending science, people that were arguing against fear, defending immigrants. There was one that said, don't panic, we're just Hispanic. I said, fuck yes. Like, yes. Anyway, all these great signs. He said, and they, and pointed to the Trumpers, he's like, all they do is chant his name. And I'm just going to let y'all sit with that for a minute. So anyway, wherever you were today, I hope you got...
without telling me you're in a cult.
Right. Okay, I say that as I'm wearing a dude's face on my t-shirt, but...
Look at our sexy boy!
I would not vote for Lestat for president, y'all.
No, he wouldn't. He would be a terrible... He would be a terrible president. Oh, Jesus, God. He would be beautiful, but he would be bad.
Makes a wonderful vampire prince, but we don't have princes in America either.
No, fuck that.
Okay, y'all. Let's talk a little bit about our last movie night. Wait, because we got good feedback for Once Bitten too.
God.
So first of all, thanks everybody for coming with us on that journey, and it was a journey. A ride. Mandy, first of all, said, I feel like I need to apologize to y'all for this one. Mandy is one of the ones that had voted for this and maybe even mentioned it.
No, we'd have done it anyway because we both thought it was great.
I wanted to do it. Yeah. Mandy said, I remember watching this in the theater when I was 10. My mom would not infrequently. Yeah, right?
That's awesome.
My mom would not infrequently drop my friends and me off at the Spring Lowe's Theater for a matinee. Man, we were feral then. Somehow this movie got melded with another 80s vampire gem. My Best Friend is a Teenaged Vampire with a very young Robert Sean Leonard prior to the Dead Poets Society. How could they let us watch this stuff as very precocious children? I mean, you do have to remind yourself that like times were different, right? Like,
look, we were feral. We were
first of all the gay jokes and the like the homophobia and stuff that's in here would never have been thought of as crass or uncouth to show a child or nothing.
No,
not a concern given to that at all. Even honestly, by fairly progressive parents, even if your parents were like generally allies, they wouldn't have scoffed in 83 at a bunch of faggot jokes, for instance.
No,
okay,
it is not a thing.
And the sexuality of it all, but there's no titties, there's no butts, there's no penises, there's no nudity in this movie. You're right.
There is the butt.
The two vampires at the end, the two female vampires. You're right. But just that, so they would say, and you got to remember at this time, you could put one boob or a pair of boobs in a PG movie and get away with it.
One boob, single boob.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I got a memory of a lot of PG movies and like, there's titties in this.
Well, and
I try to show it to my kids and I'm like, oh wait, I forgot.
Yeah, you got to remember PG-13 didn't exist then. PG-13 didn't become a thing until like what, the late 80s, early 90s.
So anyway, Mandy, mea culpa not needed. But
No.
yeah, it was a crazy time. It's so, looking back, it's like, man, I will say this. It's 100% pipeline, y'all. And I mentioned it, I joked about it in the episode, but like, the reason why we all fell in love, and not all of us did, but most of us, a lot of people in our audience fell in love with Anne when they were children. And probably too young to be reading Anne, just like they read V.C. Andrews and just like they read Stephen King. And yeah,
God, V.C. Andrews, Lord God.
Right? They would hand 12-year-olds that book like all the time, Ashley. Oh, Lord have mercy. Anyway, there's a pathway though, right? And the fact that we were watching these crazy, inappropriate movies at 6 and 7 and 8 and 10 is the reason why we were fine reading VCN. That wasn't inappropriate for us anymore.
No.
And it wasn't fucking our world up, honestly, in a bad way. It was opening it in a good way.
No, it was fine. It was absolutely fine. Because we were fucked up to start with.
If, like me, you have 11 and 12-year-olds who aren't reading Anne Rice yet, and you're sort of like, well, I wonder why they won't get into vampires. It's because you raised them well, and you took care of them. It's not time yet.
They're not ready, and that's probably good.
Yeah. Nature is healing.
Yes, nature is healing. The cycles are ending.
Yeah, we're breaking generational curses.
Exactly. Okay. One vampire movie at a time.
Patrick Garone commented, which, by the way, Patrick, new patron in the last couple of weeks. Thank you for joining, Patrick. Patrick said not to get into a woke-off or cause a round of self-flagellation over it, but I don't know how I feel about Sebastian. You and I had talked a lot about the homophobia in it, but we had both used Sebastian particularly as like it's so weird that they have a great gay character and yet they make these jokes, etc. He said, I don't know how I feel about Sebastian. I think you all let him off the hook too easy as being positive. Not to go down the rabbit hole of everything problematic about a dumb 80s movie, but the stereotype of a gay man whose whole life is servicing fabulous, glamorous women is pretty insidious. Really good call on that one too. And here's the other one. Although he's smart and he seems to be high status, ultimately he is a black domestic servant character, which has its own long, ignominious history. Being sassy is a poor substitute for having agency.
You are fucking right.
Such good criticism, Patrick. Genuinely, like excellent read that we missed. And he's a femme character played by a straight identifying man. Lots to pick apart with that character. To be frank on that last point, and I said this in the comments, I was not certain about Cleavon Little's sexuality. And especially at that point in Hollywood, how you present and what your public image is and even what the story is, and maybe I'm even married, that doesn't necessarily mean what goes on in your bedroom. Also, though, like Cleavon Little had played in many ways a very similar sassy character with Black Bart and Sheriff Bart in Blazing Saddles. So, man, I think I literally just realized that was Sheriff Bart was a play on the whole Black Bart thing because he was black. Man, I'm literally just unpacking stuff for myself here, Patrick. I appreciate you opening me up.
Wide open right now. The woke is flowing through you.
Unlimited wokeness. Okay. Patrick goes on to say, by the way, I immensely enjoyed the dance-off. I thought that shit was delightful, and everyone involved acquitted themselves quite well. He's 100% right. We kind of bagged on it because it was so out of place. And again, it's one of those 80s tropes. Yeah, it was just in every 80s movie. It's like, now let's dance.
I watched Scream 2 last night. I fucking fast-forwarded it through the fucking scene where he sings in the cafeteria. I'm never watching that scene ever again. I hate it. It makes me so uncomfortable.
Okay. He also points out, we talked about Megan Mullally being in the film. At the very end, we weren't sure who she played. Megan Mullally was one of the two girls that talked to the main girl. I can't remember what her name was. Talked to her in front of the weird matte paint looking mural. You remember there's the scene right at the beginning where it looks like they're in front of a lake, and then all of a sudden they move to the corner and you realize it was just a wall painting, a mural. Yeah, Megan Mullally is one of the girls that's talking to her at that moment. Once you go back and look at her and hear her, it's obvious, but I didn't notice her at first. Yeah. That's literally her only scene in the movie. It's like one line, she has 2 lines or something, and so she's out. Anyway, excellent feedback, Patrick. We appreciate you.
Thanks,
Wonderful
Patrick.
addition to the conversation.
Fucking great
See,
comments.
it is not just your shekels that we need. It is the feedback and the ongoing conversation. Excellent work, folks. All right, let's talk about this movie. Ashley, first of all, you had never seen this before, right?
No, I did not know this movie existed.
Okay.
Until we started talking about it.
I knew it existed, and I knew it was on my list. Like, it had been there for a long time. This is one that I had wanted to see. What this movie is, and what I thought it was in my head, 2 very different things. Really interesting film.
Yeah, it's well, Brett was like, how was that? Because I watched it in the bedroom while he was playing video games, and I was like, it was really arty and really like atmospheric. Like, it was really moody and really arty, and I was like, I liked it. It wasn't like it didn't feel masturbatory. It felt like it. Well, and it's what Scott, Tony Scott's first film. It's Ridley Scott's brother.
I forgot to look up the director. That makes so much
Tony Scott.
fucking sense.
Yeah.
God, that makes sense.
Yeah, and Tony Scott was such a great filmmaker. He was such a great filmmaker and made such a great variety of movies. And this was his first film, his first directorial debut. And it is, like, and that, I mean, it speaks volumes for how talented he is, that this is so interesting and watchable, and it's definitely of its time. It's hardcore. Can we please watch a movie about vampires that's not from the 80s?
We've got some coming up.
I just need a break.
First of all, I'm fairly certain our next film is The Invitation, which is like 2022 or something. It's very recent.
I just need to be not in the 80s for a minute. But it's really like that first fucking scene, that like club scene is so wild and interesting, and just like musically interesting, and sound design's interesting. It's visually interesting. Like, everything about it, like, it's very hard to stop watching this movie, even though it's a very like, a very like just steady story being told the whole time,
Okay, I'm trying to pull up just his director credits here. God, he got 32 director credits. All right.
Yeah.
So he made The Hunger. First of all, he made a Hunger TV series from 97 to 99. Oh, they only did 2 episodes. Maybe it was like a mini series, or they tried it. He did Enemy of the State, the Will Smith, Gene Hackman movie. He did Crimson Tide. He did The Last Boy Scout. True Romance. Top Gun, Days of Thunder is Tony Scott. Like, this is a incredibly talented visual artist. Yeah, I didn't realize this was like his sort of his coming out party. He had done like some TV stuff and some short films.
Well, and this also reminded me that he fucking threw himself off a bridge.
Jesus, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he jumped off a bridge and killed himself.
Oh my God, no, I didn't know that. Man, he was working until like fairly recently too. He made The Gray? Oh no, he was an executive producer on that. Okay.
He died in 2012.
God, so many. I had no idea. Yeah, I'm a big Tony Scott fan, honestly. That is a shame. And that makes so much sense in retrospect, Ashley. So much sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I even said in my posting about the scheduling change, I was like, oh, let's go watch the sexy queer vampire movie. First of all, we're an hour deep in this barely 90-minute movie before there's any sapphicness at all. So a little bit boo on that. They don't make us wait for the shower scene. There's a great one early. So thumbs up there.
They did not. There's definitely pert little breasts to be appreciated in this film.
Ashley, this movie, first of all, like, I cannot imagine a better definition of a vibes movie, right? Like, this movie is about the vibes.
Yeah.
The storyline is so immaterial, honestly. Like, the specifics. It could be silent, right? Like, you could do the whole film silent.
There's not a lot of dialogue in it, actually.
No.
If you think about it, if you think back to it, there is not a lot of dialogue. I mean, there's plenty of it, but there's a lot of like quiet,
Considered one of the greatest European actresses on film, Catherine Deneuve, born 1943 in the 17th arrondissement, which folks who've watched my What You Missed videos on Interview with the Vampire on our YouTube channel know about the arrondissements. So what else was Catherine in? Let me see here. I don't know what I've known her from. I just always knew her as one of those famous, beautiful people.
Just like I knew her as being like the best French actress, like the most well-known French actress, one of the most well-known European actresses,
The Umbrellas of Cherbourg in 64. She was in The Young Girls of Rochefort in 67. A lot of French films, it looks like. The Truth from 2019.
Oh, yeah.
That's more recent. That's an American film. Bernadette in 2023. Spirit World in 2024. So she's still out there working, y'all. She's getting it done.
Indochine was probably like the first time I really remember seeing her or like knowing of her, because I think she got nominated for an Academy Award for that. So I think that was probably like the first time I like knew about her and heard about her and kind of learned about like who she was and what she did.
I thought this movie was basically going to be a Only Lovers Left Alive played straight for drama instead of sort of the humor that film has got a tinge of.
No, this is very different than that.
Totally different than that, right? I also thought the thrust of the film was going to be about the couple, David Bowie and Catherine Deneuve, seducing Susan Sarandon, right? Like, not at all with this. This movie is like a tone poem about aging.
Yeah, and it's because I was confused. I was like, what is, like, they're making such a big deal about the makeup in this? Like, I kept reading about, the makeup in that was like the makeup, and I was like, what are we fucking? It was like 10 minutes into it, and I was like, there's not any weird makeup. No, they fucking age David Bowie before our eyes. It's insane.
So unbelievable.
It was insane.
Really good. Really good work there. And again, like, the fact that he's sort of out of the story
so
like
fast.
45 minutes in, maybe
42 minutes, Joel. I was like, holy shit, she's putting him in a dusty box and we're 42 minutes into this.
Right. And anyway, so if you've listened this far and you didn't think this movie was for you and you were just going to hear our conversation, I like, maybe go try it out anyway, y'all. It is not what you think it is. It's a very, very interesting movie. And again, if you're at all a fan of any of those actors, Susan Sarandon, Catherine Deneuve, David Bowie, dude, if you like Dan Hedaya. Dan Hedaya's got a small role in this, and he's really good in it too.
Dan Hedaya, I love it when he shows up in anything. What a treat!
Me too. Anyway, so there you go. No spoilers. You can jump out now. Really, no spoilers. Go watch this. It's very, very cool. If you did watch it, now we're going to thrust ahead. Ashley, I thought the last movie was 1980s. This movie is boiled. It's like put your Bane voice on.
So different ways,
You like merely adopted the 80s. I was born in it.
It's like two different versions of the 80s that are both very real and very valid. You know what I mean? Like, we know that while we were watching Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, people were doing a lot of blow in clubs.
That's a very good point. They were doing a lot of blow and drinking champagne in the back seat of limousines in cities where we didn't live. Yeah, that's a very good point. Man, the opening of this thing is just an MTV music video for Bela Lugosi's Dead. It is so crazy. They're playing in a club, which is the strangest club. But like there's a cage on it, like from the bar in Blues Brothers. But it's just a good prop for the singer to
Roadhouse.
Like put his face in. Yeah, or a Roadhouse. Very, very interesting. Okay, but we get, like, almost immediately, we're shown these vampires don't have any fangs, Ashley.
No, I was like, are they just people that are killing people? Are these just, I will say that these killings felt more like murder than it feels like when vampires eat people normally, because they had to stab them.
Okay, this is my... I even wrote it out as a question that I wanted to talk about. Okay, here it is. We'll bring it up right here. Would it be harder? And I want your comments in the reply section on this, wherever we post about it. Tell us what you feel about this. Would it be harder for you to be a vampire if you had fangs or not? And I don't know. That was my initial reaction too. I was like, these feel more like murders, and I'm like,
they do.
Why? Why does it feel more like a murder than when Lestat rips their throat out?
Because also there's so when the fangs are involved, I feel like there's a seduction that is involved too. Which, granted, this opening scene, this opening feeding scene, we see them pick up a couple at the club, and they're both like gonna nosh down on a person each, but like they're afraid when the feeding starts, when a lot of the time I feel like a vampire seduction has happened, and it becomes kind of like this sensual sexual thing that you're kind of like drunk and kind of leaning into, sort of. Whereas this is like, oh, this bitch just cut my throat with a fucking necklace knife and now I'm bleeding. Holy shit. And they have time to think about all that. And so they're scared. They scream. Everybody screams when they're getting killed in this. Like, nobody's nobody's chill with it. It's not like, ooh, a little drink. It's like blood gushing and bad.
These are messy vampires too. They end up having a lot of mess to clean up a lot of different times.
They do have a nice incinerator in their basement, like every good vampire should.
I just love that question, though. Would it be harder for you to be a vampire if you didn't have fangs, or if you did? I don't know, man. I think I am with you. I think Anne's vampires especially. I mean, Lestat even makes fun of someone at some point in the books. I think Armand or something, because he's like, it's so easy to just cloud their minds and seduce them and let them go easily. Like, why would you ever scare one of these mortal? Like, why are you eating their fear? That's not what we live off of. Anyway, the ways in which these vampires are like our Anne book vampires are interesting too. The way the blood works, I think, is similar, and there were some interesting things there that I was like, oh, I wonder if these folks were reading. Although in 83, Lestat's not out yet, right? The vampire Lestat doesn't come out until 84.
Yeah.
So we don't really know the nature of her vampirism yet because of Louis. He doesn't know it.
And these guys are walking around in the daytime.
Yeah.
Like, they have no rules. I bet they have garlic. I bet they have garlic bread, Joel. I bet they go to the fucking Red Lobster and get the cheddar biscuits.
I'll say, Ashley, the very first time that David Bowie starts staring at himself in the mirror and he's looking at his crow's feet and stuff and he's obsessing over the lines on his face, I did think, hey, asshole, maybe if you stayed out of the sun as a vampire, you wouldn't have aged. Like, I don't know. Like,
use your sunscreen, bench.
Moisturize.
My guy, he definitely dried out real quick. Bless his heart.
Okay, the little fangs, though, that they use, and it's very cool because the first time that we see them, they're laid together and very specifically meant to evoke the imagery of fangs. They have these little blades on their necklaces, but they're ankhs. And I immediately was like, oh, got some cool Egyptian shit going on here, too. A little bit of whitewashing, it turns out. But yes, it actually does go all the way back to Ashley. I mean, it goes all the way back to Egypt.
Back to Egypt.
Yeah, it goes all the way back to you. It's your fault, Ashley.
All the way back to me.
You're the one.
I am an Egyptian whitewasher.
You're no redheads in Egypt, y'all. Catherine's not redhead, but like, she does also not come from Egypt.
No.
I'm not sure what the plan was there.
She comes from
France. So very specifically, we understand that accent. Okay. I want to ask, who watched this film and then was skeptical like 3 years later on whether or not Susan Sarandon was sexy enough to be in Bull Durham? That's the story, right? She had to go flash her tits at the casting agent or whatever and like come in a sexy outfit and loom over him and like show off
she had
to
also
get that job.
Done Rocky Horror. Like, she had shown.
Fuck yes! She wore fishnets for 45 minutes.
Like,
what is wrong with you people?
What the fuck is the matter with you?
Anyway,
you know, what I do like about Susan Sarandon is that she is not traditionally beautiful. Like, she is not a tall, leggy blonde. This is a woman who is not afraid to have short hair, you know, like, and she's so gorgeous in this.
She's really, really, in fact, she's so pretty and so young. She's sort of hard to buy as an expert in any field, let alone in,
like
she's
a doctor.
Like a sleep pathologist of some sort. Like, yeah, that doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense.
I thought that was such a cool, interesting way to build this story and it be about like this him going through this rapid aging that happens to why doesn't this happen to her? How does she avoid it? You know, is it because she's the maker? I don't know, but it made me interested in that. But to tie into like what's happening to him, into them discovering this like doctor that's studying it is so interesting to me. Fucked up monkey scenes. Ooh.
Yeah, okay. Very much reminded me of the fucked up ape scenes from
Usher.
Yes, Fall of the House of Usher. I was immediately like, better effects than Fall of the House of Usher. There's a
I bet
weird
Flanagan's seen this.
There's a weird that's immediate. I was like, I guarantee you he was trying to do some of this. But this is there's a weird like Harryhausen effect where the ape not only dies quickly, but then basically decays in front of you. Yeah, decomposes in just a matter of minutes. And I mean, like, it's interesting that they put that in the story, but I did think like, God, what lab is using our tax money to make a way to kill us all quicker?
I mean,
the guy very specifically says, we don't have any idea how to decelerate it. We're real good at accelerating it already, though. We figured that out.
We kill you quick, turns out.
Oh, man. All right, so they kill these two. First of all, I want to say, here's a little 80s homophobia for you. And again, I was a little worried because I had said this was a queer vampire movie. And then it starts out, they pick up the couple from the bar. They separate them girl and boy style. Girl, boy. We got to break it up, Ashley.
Yeah. Joel was like, worried for a second. Uh-oh.
It was like, come on. Bowie couldn't have taken the dude in the other room?
Ooh.
Like, I mean, you weren't going to do anything with him.
I think we all know Bowie could have taken the man in the other room.
Bowie did in fact take the dude in the other room, probably. Anyway, but so they kill this couple, they drain them, and then they throw them in the furnace, and then they hit the showers, as you do, Ash.
As you do, you gotta clean off.
We have said before that we want more shower and bath scenes in this show, and here we go. We've got it. Praise be.
You know, I prefer a bath scene just in general. I feel like shower sex is completely overrated.
All about the angles and surfaces.
If you have a height difference, I want to talk about how that is very challenging for a shower situation. I want to talk about how I'm afraid to slip and fall in the shower. It's like a fear of mine. So like, I'm like, are my feet sturdy? I'm thinking about whether or not I'm going to slip on some fucking shampoo and break my neck in the bathroom. Like, the shower is not sexy for me.
I'll just say, I really appreciate a shower seat. Me personally, I love a good shower seat. Now, the problem there is it's probably going to be tile as cold as hell unless you do a little work with the washcloth first. But get that taken care of. You
Warm
get your
that
ass
up.
down on there. It's
Steam
a nice solid
first.
surface to work from. Exactly.
Yeah. I can work with that.
Man, David Bowie's ass in '83 was noteworthy. Can we just
we all saw him in those pants in Labyrinth. Hello, my God, Lord God. Let's talk about inappropriate things for children to see. That was a fucking
right. That fucking cod piece he's wearing.
Woo!
That movie. Goodness gracious. Okay. Beth Ehlers is the actress's name. She comes into the movie now as Alice. And I was immediately like,
soap opera actress.
Poor Alice. What's going to happen to you? Okay, what was she? She was in the Guiding Light?
Guiding Light for forever. Because I recognized her name.
Maybe that's why I recognize the face.
I was like, I didn't recognize her face at all, but I recognized her name. I had to look her up.
Yeah, she looks a little different as an adult, but
she looks a lot different as an adult.
Absolutely makes sense. She's really good in. I mean, it's a small role.
Yeah.
But she's really good in this. It does make
precocious,
me wonder, though.
Smart, like.
I want more is all I want from these two vampires. I think to myself, like, what is this world like? We talked about this a little bit with Only Lovers Left Alive, too. Like, we get to meet some of their friends. We see a little bit of, like, what their life has been like. And it's like, oh, that would have been interesting to see.
Right.
Why are they training this girl in music? Why are they doing this? What is the plan here?
Well, I think that, like, that's their cover, is that they're, like, music teachers.
literally they're in camo while they're teaching music to this little girl. That's okay. That might
That's
make
like they're
sense, I
like,
suppose.
this is what we do. We live in this fancy apartment in New York, and we teach music to
Okay,
children.
let's be honest. The way that little girl was dressed, she couldn't have afforded the two of them.
Yeah, she's got a scholarship.
Yeah,
Look,
I guess so.
it's easier to groom the poor, Joel.
Um, so we find out here that John Blaylock, David Bowie's character, is aging.
Yeah,
Very suddenly.
very suddenly.
Yesterday he was 30. Today he's got liver spots. He is freaked
His hair is
fuck
falling out
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's supposed to be young forever. This is he's been lied to. There is a there was a clause in the contract he did not read.
Right. So he confronts Miriam about it, Catherine Deneuve's character, and it turns out this has happened before, and
She's got an attic full of vampire boxes.
So when we finally see, when she actually goes to the attic, it's like, oh, this has happened many, 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 many times, actually. Oh, okay, wait. But here we hear very specifically about one. He asks about one person, how long did it take for her? And she said, a few days, maybe a week. I don't remember. And he's like, no, you would remember this. Maybe it was hundreds of years ago, but you wouldn't forget something like this. How long did it take her to die? John knows exactly what is up for himself, which is why he goes and chases down Susan Sarandon. And maybe she's got the secret for him. But holy hell, I did not expect this sequence. She blows him off, says, just sit in the waiting room. I'll be right back. Don't even worry about it.
There's another nut coming in here to try to talk to me about aging.
She calls security and is like, hey, just he's probably harmless. Just watch the guy. He'll leave on his own in a little while. But in the hours that he sits in the waiting room, we get a glimpse of her and her team. So they're experimenting with these monkeys. We mentioned the creepy monkey effects earlier.
Fucked up. It's kind of fucked up experimentation on animals.
Well, especially when they're just talking, like they're watching. I'm assuming it's footage that they're playing back because the way a few times they're talking about it like it was past tense. But regardless, whether it was live or footage, they're talking about this in such a clinical way where they like knew what was going to happen and they shot this monkey up with this stuff and he is literally
to make
like
it
dust.
Happen.
Yeah.
What are we using this for, Joel? What?
I mean, and again, like the
it's like they got tricked into building the laser in Real Genius or something. Like, what the fuck are we using this for?
Let's talk about real quick here. There's a member of the team, Rufus Collins, played by Charlie Humphreys. And I pointed out to Kelly, I was like, it's first of all, good on them that the whole team of scientists wasn't white in 83, right? Bad on them, though, because what does the black member of their team act like? And what does he look like? First of all, he's got braids, I think, right? He's got long hair or something. And he wears sunglasses in the laboratory all the time. And he sort of talks like this all the time, man. He's a blood expert, y'all. This man went to school and graduate school and got a PhD probably to be in this position. Like, but sure, he's a jive talker. Like, come on.
We don't love it. We don't love that.
Hey, wait a minute. He was a Transylvanian in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Shut up!
No, yeah, he absolutely was. He was one of the Transylvanians. That's hilarious.
Oh, I love that.
I wonder if Susan helped him get the job.
I love that.
That is very, very interesting. Okay, so while all of that is happening, we see this team, we see what's going on with them. They're working on what they're trying to do is slow down aging, but they have no clue how it works.
They only know how to speed it up.
Yeah, they've figured out that there is a clock and that we can fuck with it. That's what they figured out so far. Meanwhile, Bowie, who's been out in the waiting room, is now bald. He's like 70, 75 probably.
Yeah.
After just sitting in the waiting room for a few hours.
For like a few hours. Yeah.
Yeah. I should have fucking known that this was a Tony Scott film. The zoom ins on... What'd you smack yourself with there?
I hit my hand on the table and it made everything just...
Man, I had to mount my camera differently because I noticed in one of our videos recently, every time I hit the table for any emphasis or even just move the mouse, my camera was going whoop, 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 whoop,
Yeah.
whoop.
I've got a wobble over here I need to do something with.
Okay. The zoom ins on throats and pulses, they're so intense. They're very effective. Again, this is a vibes movie, but like that is so Tony Scott. That is so Tony Scott. Okay. I knew he was going to kill Alice as soon as we realized he was aging. Like it was so obvious that that was going to happen, but still it was fucked up when he does it. You're right. All these killings feel like murders in a way that most when the vampire movie is told from the point of vampires, it's generally not the case. Here, it very much feels like murders. This one feels the worst, though. This one feels like a rape and a murder almost.
It's awful. Terrible. It's not good. She's so scared. She's fighting so hard, and she's so scared. I feel very bad for her.
So again, we don't get any details. I really want to read the book. Honestly, it turns out this is based on a book. In the credits, what does it say? From the novel by Whitley Strieber. I've never read this before, but if you have, tell us before we get into it. Does the book give us any more of this world and what the deal is with everything? Like, okay, here's a question. John is now ancient, right? Like he's literally like 115 at this point as he comes out to talk to Miriam, even though he's eaten Alice. And yet Miriam can't kill him. She said it doesn't work that way for us. He falls down the stairs. He's still not dead.
She picks his dusty ass up. That's how I mean, she is strong. We do see that she has got like some extra strength power, but she picks up his sad little dusty ass and takes him upstairs.
Yeah, carries him upstairs to her, as you mentioned earlier, a stack full of coffins in her attic.
I'd like to discuss this, ma'am. If you know that my fancy ass is going to turn into dust eventually, and you're going to keep me in a box in your attic, why you put me in the ugly box? Why you didn't get a pretty box? Why am I in a crate? Why am I just in a gross little vampire box? Your friends are in these pretty carved boxes. Why am I in a crate?
I mean, she says to John at one point, in the ground, in the rotting wood, in the earth, we can feel it all. That's how it is for us. And so I guess in that universe, I wouldn't want to be buried. My thing is like, literally, did no one try fire?
Give me a better box. Why can't you just burn them? I just want to be in a pretty box. If I have to sit there, put me in something nice. I don't want to feel like I'm in something you moved a refrigerator in.
If I'm looking like David Bowie is at this point in this film, y'all go ahead and toast me up, throw me in a Ralph's coffee can and dump me out over the water somewhere nice.
Modest,
all right,
in that modest receptacle.
That's right. It is fucked up that she's keeping all of her lovers around. Also, Ashley, would you want to be buried next to all of Brett's exes?
No.
Would that be a fun afterlife for you? Me neither. I don't know. There's not a single fucking one of Kelly's exes, actually, that I would want to be buried beside. Not a single one, in fact.
I can't think of any. That
fairly certain she'll agree with that too. On my part.
On your part, yeah. No, it's not. No. Brett might have fun just laughing at people and being mean, but
So this is where Dan Hedaya shows up. He is Lieutenant.
He's the cop, of course.
Ma'am, just one more question.
Love it.
Dan Hedaya, if you don't know, by the way, he plays Rhea Perlman's terrible ex-husband in Cheers.
Piece of shit husband in Cheers, yes.
He's just one of the worst human beings in the history of mankind. Like, he's just the greatest schmuck ever. He's so funny in it, too. Anyway, he's great here as this detective.
Side note, Cheers is great. I rewatched it a couple of years ago. It holds up really well. Just saying. Well,
Frasier does too.
Some of the sexist stuff doesn't hold up as well. But
even in those storylines, though, the sexism is continually hoisted on its own petard.
Yes, absolutely.
Because Ted Danson's character is never shown as the smart or right one.
No.
in his, it's like Archie Bunker. Yeah, he said lots of racist things on that show. No one was ever telling you that he was good or right.
That was right.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was
we were
specifically
making fun of him.
I would say the original version of Frasier holds up largely too. I'm like 3 seasons into that as it's one of my comfort shows that I'm rewatching.
Nice.
I am not a fan of Kelsey, so I'm not watching the new one. But David Hyde Pierce is my boy, so I'm all about that one. Okay. Dan comes in, though, and he's playing Lieutenant Allegrazza, and she makes a face, and he goes, oh, you're the only one I've never gotten a smile with that name. She goes, well, it does mean good cheer. And he's inquiring about Alice Cavender. Of course they sent someone to look for the little lost girl. Like, you're going to have to kill them all.
12 or 13. Of course she's coming to check. Yes, she has parents that are paying these people to teach this girl how to play the violin.
Right? We have your address, ma'am, because we write you checks in 1983. Like
exactly.
So she plays it off, and Dan goes away because it's 1983 and the cops were dumb. But like,
besides, she's probably just a runaway, Joel.
Okay, that's probably the case. They all assume that. All right. So I was very confused. They're playing a piece of music here when Susan Sarandon shows up to check on John, who's obviously not home. Oh, he's home.
He's home.
He's just not available.
He's in his new bed.
But she starts playing this piece of music, and she says, "What is this that you're playing?" Susan Sarandon asks. And she says it's Lakme by Delibes, Delibes. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. Okay, Lakme is an opera in 3 acts by Leo Delibes, a French libretto by Edmond Gondenet and Philippe Gilles. The score was written from 1881 to 1882 and was first performed on 14th of April, 1883 by the Opera Comique at the second Salle Favart in Paris with stage decorations, etc., etc. Yeah, so this is a very old piece of music here. But, okay, this blew my mind because I swear to God, so the song that she's playing is the Flower Duet for a soprano and mezzo-soprano, but it's performed in Act 1 by Lakme, the daughter of Brahmin priest, and her servant Malika, just as she lays it out in the film. This Malika and Lakme are in love probably, but that's sort of the subtext of the thing, right? I could have sworn that the name of this was the Clair de Lune. I got mad and like wrote down a note when they said it was Delibes. I was like, no, that's Clair de Lune, right?
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I was so stupid and wrong, y'all. It's the Flower Duet. That's probably the only time you're ever going to hear me say that. So y'all go ahead and clip that and
I'm so
TikTok
stupid and wrong.
I'm so stupid and wrong. The Flower Duet is the name of it. So I heard this sang in retrospect. I mean, I saw it performed many, many times because I was in the show. And when we were in college, there was a excellent professor named David Wiley who was in the music side of things, and he ran a show every year that we referred to as Opera Workshop. He didn't really love that name in the beginning, and then he ended up buying into it because that's what everybody called it anyway. But it was it was like a musical review, and we'd do some Broadway numbers, we'd do some opera numbers, and then we'd put together a little show with like a through theme, sing our asses off, and he'd get the best performers and singers from the theater side that wanted to do musical theater, and he'd get the best singers from the music side of the building, and we'd put our shit together, and it was a great performance every year. Always brought the house down. But one year in particular where there was a few years where I did the narrator position for him and like put the pieces together and gave where they were from and everything. Ashley, I literally read the narration explaining what this show was, what this song is from, and what the show was about, and what the name of the music was, and who the composer was. And I still thought it was Clair de Lune all this fucking time. Anyway,
hilarious.
It's not Clair de Lune, y'all.
It's not. It's not.
It does lead into what I'm going to declare is the sexiest wine spill of all time, Ashley. I am here for it. Susan Sarandon spills a little wine on her blouse.
A little port.
Nipples is all I'm going to say. Just the prettiest nipples.
I mean, Why would you ever wear a bra?
And immediately takes the shirt off, too.
Yeah,
like,
immediately.
She's all coy. She's like, are you coming on to me, Miriam?
Yeah. Yeah. And then she takes her
shirt off. Well, I'm coming on to you now, for sure.
With those slutty little nipples.
Let's talk about this room-size mirror propped up on the bed, Ashley. What the fuck?
These people are having a lovely time. Look, if you were fucking David Bowie in 1983, wouldn't you want to be able to see it?
That's a good call. That is a good call, my friend. Very good point. All right, so here we are, though. We're an hour in, and it finally gets sapphic. Although, once it gets sapphic, it goes in that direction pretty hard.
Yeah, it leads, and I appreciate it. Thank you. I love girl on girl. It's so hot.
Well, it does make me wonder, though, like, well, first of all, it immediately tells you that room full of coffins upstairs is not, it's a co-ed building,
yeah,
right?
That's like, a co-ed dorm. A co-ed dorm up there.
Yeah. But it does make me wonder again, like it puts that, when they split the couple up in the opening scene, it puts that at a further remove from me from reality. Like, really, these two would have killed that couple sitting beside each other on the couch, pretending we're about to go into a foursome.
A big foursome. Yeah. That'd be a group project.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on now. That was two executives going, whoa, we can't have David Bowie with the guy. That'd be gay, y'all.
That'd be gay, but lesbians are hot. So.
Yeah, these two ladies can roll around on their titties together, though. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. Pour some wine on them.
I like that they get sexually satisfied before they feed.
Well, yeah, that is nice.
I was like,
get yours and then have a snack.
Yes, ma'am, actually.
If you snack beforehand, you might not still be in the mood. You might snack too much and then...
get a little lethargic. Yeah, you might get full, feel a little bloated. That's why you fuck before the date.
Then
you fuck at the beginning of the date.
Dinner. This is old people advice for you kids.
Fuck first, then go to Olive
Garden. Fuck first, and then go to dinner. If you go to dinner first... You're gonna get home and you're gonna be too fucking full.
You might never arrive, okay?
That's all I'm saying.
Arrive.
How are you going to end up in a box in someone's attic? You're never going to live your dreams.
Okay, so she gets bitten, she gets drained, she gets fed, or at least given blood. Although it does make me wonder if they don't have fangs, and I don't think we have. Do we ever see Susan Sarandon's mouth on blood? I don't remember that being the case.
I thought there was
maybe once.
At one point,
maybe right.
But I think there was so much.
It was just rolling around.
There was so much rolling around. It was hard to tell which parts were whose.
Yeah, that's fair. But she's turned, obviously, and we're gonna get now. She needs a raw steak, and she's not happy with it because it wasn't raw enough. At mealtime with her boyfriend. Which, by the way, we haven't mentioned him. Tom Haver is the actor's or the character's name, but he's played by Cliff DeYoung, which Cliff was in a bunch of stuff, but I wanted to go look at his profile. Okay, I literally told Kelly, I was like, he played a dad in one of those movies like The Goonies or something. It was The Flight of the Navigator. He's the dad in Flight of the
Navigator. Yes.
You want to talk about another movie they shouldn't have shown us as children? I mean, again, that one's not scary or sexy. It's just like, oh, wait a minute, my parents are going to die and all of time is going to pass me by and this life is finite. Oh, okay. I was 7. I wasn't ready for that one, actually. Thank you very much.
It's a little too existential for maybe
let's go back to Care Bears there. Come on, man.
Give me some titties and vampires. I can't handle this shit.
Cliff DeYoung, though, he's in a bunch of stuff. He's a great dad. He's a great,
solid character actor.
Kind of asshole-ish boyfriend. Although here, like, you want to root against him the whole time, but this is very much a, what was her name? Skylar from Breaking Bad. Like, everybody gave Skylar shit in the first couple of seasons of Breaking Bad. And you're like, hello, she's trying to keep the brakes on. Her
husband is cooking meth.
Who's becoming a despot,
a drug lord.
Yeah. It's okay to be bitchy, actually, in that sort of circumstance.
To say you might not be in your best mindset if you're dealing with that either.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. Okay, but in this moment, though, Susan runs back to Miriam, and she's like, "Hey, what the fuck did you do to me?
Because I'm wanting to eat people.
Shit's going on, and it's a problem. What is happening here?" And Ashley, there's such a great quote. This is literally everyone who has tried to control you in a bad relationship. And I'm speaking about romantically. I'm speaking about familially. I'm speaking about
work,
politicianally, managerially. Exactly. If someone ever tells you there's nothing to be frightened of as long as you put your faith in me, give me time, trust me. No, fuck you. Actually.
That's also how you end up in a cult too. Like that'll get you in a cult.
Yeah, just put your faith in me. I'm the only one that can solve it.
Anyone that thinks they're the only one that can solve anything is a piece of shit.
Yeah. First of all, the viewer, Susan doesn't know this. We know you can't solve it, bitch. You got an attic full that says you can't solve it.
You just put David Bowie in a box, ma'am.
David Bowie in a box is the name of the episode. There you go, by the way. Don't put David Bowie in a box.
Nobody puts David Bowie in a box.
Okay, so Willem Dafoe in a tiny little role. Did you notice him?
So funny.
Okay, his name in the credits is Second Phone Booth Youth. He's not even the first Phone Booth Youth.
Nope, second Phone Booth Youth.
Okay, this is a perfect, though. If you're out there and you're in the entertainment industry at any level or in any way, this is a perfect example. Like, fucking Alan Rickman was like 42 when he made Die Hard. Willem Dafoe was out there as a working actor for a long time, but getting shit roles. Again, he wasn't even the first Phone Booth Youth, okay?
Second Phone Booth Youth.
He had one line. How about it, lady? Hey, lady, how about it? That's his line. But,
hey, lady, how about it? It works on me every time.
Man,
I don't know why she didn't go for
it. Right. I shared a reel the other day of Seth Rogen saying, like, the thesis statement was, if you keep going, you might make it.
Yes, I saw that.
And if you stop, you will definitely never make it. And that's it. That's it about whatever it is that you're trying to do in your life. If you keep going, you might make it. If you don't keep going, you will definitely never make it. So there you go. Willem Dafoe made it. Thank God. He's going to be Scrooge. Ashley, somebody posted in our group.
So excited.
Eggers is doing A Christmas Carol, which is going to be. There was one of the comments in our group that said, so Christmas Carol absolutely has the same supernatural elements that all of Eggers' work has had so far. What it doesn't have is the bleak ending. It's got a positive ending. What is that going to look like in an Eggers movie? I'm so excited. I
don't know, but I'm pretty sure it'll probably be 10 minutes too long. I'm just kidding. I love A Christmas Carol. I'm very excited.
I am very excited about that. I'm more excited about that than his werewolf movie, honestly. And I'm looking forward to that,
I am too. I love a good, like Scrooged is one of my favorite Christmas movies. I love that Bill Murray version of A Christmas Carol. And The Muppet Christmas Carol is mwah.
It's a perfect story.
Two of my favorite movies.
Y'all, in 1,000 years, people will be reading Dickens' Christmas Carol. Like, it is genuinely one of the greatest stories ever put together. You can mix it up, cut it up, rearrange it any way you want to. It's still fucking great.
Everyone can think of an asshole, a rich asshole that could probably be visited by three spirits and kind of learn a lesson.
Well, but even ourselves, like, don't even on a less grand level than Scrooge. Right. Like, maybe we aren't all that hard-hearted and we're not driving our employees into death and bankruptcy. But we have all taken 3 fucking messages too many to get the fucking point on something before, haven't we? Right?
Yeah.
And then when you finally make the turn, it does feel like, I haven't missed Christmas yet. Thank God. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, what a good movie.
Didn't ruin my life.
All right. Where were we? Willem Dafoe. We talked about him. Okay. A very presumptuous young man gets his throat slit for Sarah to finish her transformation there. This dude So Miriam goes and tells Sarah, because she's got a fever and she's going crazy. She says, I'll bring you back somebody. Don't worry about it. She goes and gets this guy and brings him back. But this motherfucker, she's like, make yourself a drink. I'm going to slip into something more comfortable. He makes himself a drink and then takes the elevator upstairs going, hello.
Anybody here?
I thought I was getting a blowjob. What's going on here? Hello.
Wander through my house uninvited, sir.
Anyway, I'm saying that's the first one that's died in this movie that I didn't feel bad at all.
Yeah, no, I didn't feel bad for him at all. No.
That presumptuous asshole.
This was messy. He was a messy one, though.
Oh, he was very messy. But I do love, though, no, this is later. This is after. No, yeah, that's before Tom, I think. Susan Sarandon comes downstairs at one point, and she's got like blood all over her face and all over her outfit. And Miriam says, I told you it wouldn't be hard, would it? And she's like, no, it wasn't. Wasn't hard at all, actually.
Yum.
No, that's later. That's after Tom shows up. So Tom shows up and is like, hey, I'm looking for my girl. I think she was here yesterday.
She's right upstairs. Don't even have her in a box yet.
She just sends him straight up there. And of course, Susan Sarandon looks like she's having a junkie episode.
Oh,
like she's in the DTs.
A fucking mess.
So that's how he's treating her too. Like he's like shoving her around, and then she gets a little frisky, and he's like, hey. And then she tries to save him. She's like, no, you got to get out of here. You got to get away. And then he gets presumptuous and gets handsy. Oh, I'm going to grab you and take you out of here. And again, I was like, Tom, you asked for it at that point, baby.
You're moving. Yep. Don't put your hands on me. I'll eat you.
So there are flashbacks throughout the film. Very brief, never really any story elements. It's literally just like flashes and vibes again. But for Sarah, interestingly, for Susan Sarandon's character, the flashbacks are basically just to the lovemaking that she just had with Miriam, right? For John, we keep seeing these first few moments, it seems like when they met, basically, and fell for each other, or when he was turned. We finally see flashbacks in this moment of Miriam, and she's draining someone in ancient Egypt, it looks like. Like she's got a headdress. There's a dark woman that she's draining on this bed. But again, finally, it's like, oh, that little reference to the ankh being an Egyptian symbol earlier makes sense now. So they lay out the rules. She lays out the rules for Susan Sarandon. She says, sleep 6 hours in 24, feed 1 day in 7, and never grow old. Well, first of all, we know her prescription doesn't work.
Bitch, you're lying.
Yeah. I was so taken aback by the fact that I'm like, Susan Sarandon knows John disappeared very aged. Like,
yep.
Surely she understands you're lying about this.
She's a doctor. Could she put 2 and 2 together and make 4? Perhaps. No, she can't.
So it was so confusing to me exactly what had happened here for a minute, because there's no indication until this moment that Susan's having like second thoughts, really. She pushes Cliff off the one time, but then she kills him and is seemingly fine with it, comes downstairs and says, yeah, no, it's absolutely easy. She gets the rules, and then she fucking stabs herself in the neck.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I can't do it, actually. She's going to end it herself. And I immediately thought, Ashley, that attic is going to get crowded so fucking fast.
Man. But turns out it cleared right out.
Okay. Such a confusing ending to me, I feel like. And again, it's because we have
no idea why any of this happened.
Right. There's no world building as far as like the magic of this world or the way vampirism works or anything. But it feels like what they're trying to say here is Sarah's fresh blood, her loss, but also the continued selfishness of Miriam, that she keeps making these companions.
Yeah. Knowing what's going to happen to them. It's
finally born the rotten fruit in Sarah killing herself right away, right? And the combination of the fresh blood and the tragedy of it all awakens all of her exes in the attic. They all break out of the boxes and they come for this bitch.
Also think about all of your exes breaking out of their boxes. Having to deal with that. Oh, no, thank you.
I gotta tell you, fighting a room full of my exes all on its own would be bad enough. The fact that they're all decrepit and falling apart and
Dusty.
whatever, like dusty. That would be, oof. Again, moisturize, folks, moisturize.
Stay out of the sun.
So it's a weird ending. Again, it's like they don't show violence in this movie in a direct way. It's like you see a slash and blood flash, and even here it's like, what is are they eating her? Are they going to tear her apart? We don't really see it.
She rapidly ages in front of us.
And then after she falls. So they push her off the balcony, basically. Mm-hmm. They like chase her back to the edge. She falls down all the flights of stairs and crashes on the floor. But even then, she's not, like, her head doesn't...
into some shit on the way down.
On the way down, yeah. But she's not, like, I thought we'd see, like, her bleeding out. Yeah, but we don't see that.
It doesn't look like there's any impact trauma at all.
She begins to do this, like, back and forth flash, though, and then suddenly she's aging. And it's like these other characters are, like, sucking her power from her. Yeah, that's what it seems like. But what we get in the end, we get this strange final scene. Sarah has lived, sold the house, taken all of Miriam's money. She's going to live the high life somewhere else. She's in this beautiful apartment or whatever. Yeah. Miriam, meanwhile, is buried in a coffin, locked up somewhere. And Sarah's found herself a new love, or maybe even a couple of them.
She's got two companions, it would appear.
But, like, she died, right? Did she eat the sacred core or something somehow that wasn't explained in the movie? Like, I don't understand what they were trying to tell us happened here. What I want is a YouTube video explaining the ending of The Hunger. Maybe there is one. I don't know. I'll go watch it.
We should Google that after this show.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, because I agree. I had no idea why. I mean, obviously I could see what was happening, but I didn't know why it was happening.
Yeah,
and then when we did flash to her, I was like, wait a minute. Didn't she kill herself?
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can't. She did say you can't kill yourself.
That is true. Now, we saw several of the bodies after Miriam ages rapidly like that. We see several of the bodies of the others crumble.
Dust.
Right, fall apart. Do we see John crumble and fall apart?
I don't know.
I don't think we do. I think we see John, he's in the hallway separate from the other exes and, like, tries to grab Miriam at one point and kiss her. And then we see flashes of him a couple of times when the other exes are strangling Miriam or holding Miriam or pushing her off the balcony. But I think once she falls and begins to age, we don't see John's character at all again. And it's like, what the fuck happened there? Also, there's some random dude on the couch with Sarah and her new girlfriend. Like, is the dude food? Was the girlfriend one of the exes that we didn't?
Are they companions? Who are they? Right? Are they new vampires? What do we have going on?
I don't know. Very confusing ending. Very confusing ending. Other than we know that Sarah has left Miriam behind. Can still hear her. She's calling
in the box,
to her.
Calling Sarah's name.
Sarah's like, fuck Miriam, actually. I guess we need to read the book, the novel by Whitley Strieber. It's by the same name, The Hunger.
We want more answers. We're gonna have to read the damn book.
I do. I want a few more answers on this one. What a cool, you described it so perfectly in the beginning, though. It's like, yes, I liked it. It's really arty. This is a really hard one to recommend to basically anybody that's not already in our Facebook group and listening to this podcast, honestly. Right. Like, we've joked about very specific search terms. This is the definition of very specific search terms.
Yeah. I mean, I could think of a few, like, movie buff friends that I have that would like it just for, like, the film of it, you know? But yeah, it's an odd one because it's very low key too. Like nothing ever gets, like, everything's just kind of the whole time. Like, it's not.
It's like 96 minutes. There's no dialogue. And you're like, what are the action beats? And you're like,
I'm not sure.
There's a shower scene.
There's nice nipples.
And then there's like there's the mirror scene. And Bowie ages in a waiting room over a few hours. And then there's the ending. And you're like, and that's it. Like, it's not. It's a hard movie to explain to somebody.
But it was really,
very, very
I enjoyed
good movie, though. Yeah, I'm so glad that people recommended this to us, and I genuinely think This is one that is it's good to like file in when you think about how this influenced films that have affected us, like The Lost Boys, for instance, right?
Yeah,
Like we talked about The Lost Boys, which comes several years later, and it's like, in retrospect, that was clearly influenced by this, like in so many different ways, right? Like and you got to think that Anne was influenced by this movie in some ways by the time she's writing The Vampire Lestat and Queen of the Damned and on, Tale of the Body Thief and moving forward. Yeah, I don't know that I remember her speaking about this film, but this has got to be one that she enjoyed. Got to be one that she enjoyed.
It feels very up her alley.
All right, I want to look. Somewhere is our schedule here. Okay, so we were supposed to do The Hunger next week, but we're not because we've already done it.
We've already done it. That's what this
we're
is.
Ahead. We didn't change the schedule. We're ahead. That's all.
We're ahead and behind simultaneously.
Shush. So next week we will do, on June 22nd, we'll do Book Club Part 2 of Blackwood Farm, chapters 11 through 25.
Yes.
Then we'll do on the 29th, we'll do The Invitation from 2022. Which, have you seen that movie?
I haven't. And I know I said that I needed to get out of the 80s, but I'm looking at the schedule and I just got so fucking excited about Poltergeist all over again.
It is going to be a really good one.
Y'all, I love that movie. I've watched it 900 times.
So we'll do The Invitation on the 29th, and then on July 6th, we'll do Blackwood Farm Part 3, Chapter 26 through 40. Then on July 13th, we'll do Poltergeist from 1982. And then on July 20th, we'll do Blackwood Farm Part 4, Chapter 41 through 52. Then we're back on schedule July 27th with our next live stream.
We're doing it live again.
We're doing it live indeed. All right. I do want to remind you there is some fairly new merch. We've got the We Will Call It Sin When We Cannot Profit From It shirt and the Abracasazerac stuff.
Sazerac is I love that. I got to get one of those.
If you haven't booked your hotel yet, there are links and information in the show notes for our rooms at the Sheraton.
We just got a ticket on sale July 11th?
Thank you for reminding me. July 11th, 9 o'clock Pacific time, AM. That's when tickets are going to go on sale. So that's like noon on the East Coast, I guess. But make sure you get your timeline lined out. Make yourself an appointment.
Yep.
The fact of the matter is, folks, I think these tickets are going to sell out. They're not going to sell out in like 8 minutes like the Ball did. They will sell out probably within a day or two, I would imagine, though, even at the high prices. They are pretty high prices. I was a little disappointed. The cheapest ticket's going to be like 80.
72.
It's like 70 something plus fees.
With all your fees.
Yeah. And the most expensive ticket's almost $200 plus fees. And the only difference between those is this distance from the, like where you are in the building, distance from the stage. Do remember, if those prices are an issue for you, this thing's going to be broadcast on the internet after the fact. And Ashley and I will be doing an episode that weekend of the podcast where we talk a little bit about what we thought about the event. Again, if there's like some amazing revelation, we won't spoil it for you. We might tell you what to look forward to and how much you're going to love it and how it affected us. But we'll be broadcasting and live streaming and doing some stuff that weekend from New Orleans, regardless of whether you can attend the event or not. And I got to tell you, I'm a little concerned that Ashley and I won't be able to pull the trigger fast enough to get there ourselves too. I will say this, Ashley, just for homework's sake, I'm going to have to send you the funds from the show ahead of time so that you can order yours and Brett's and I can order mine and Kelly's, because they're limiting you to 2 per Ticketmaster account. You can only buy 2 tickets, folks. So if you're trying to get a group of folks to go, be aware of that. Make your plans. July 11th is the on sale date. 9 a.m. Pacific time is when they're going to go on sale. And the ticket prices are up there. If you didn't get that email, even me, y'all, I've made this email a VIP in the past. It went to my spam folder.
Yeah, I can't. Those emails. Thanks everybody in the group that stays on top of shit for us.
Right? Absolutely. I was so disappointed when the group was how I found out about it too. It's fine, but do be aware of that. Get on top of it if you want to attend this event and get your tickets so that you can attend there in person with us. Okay, one small bit of business as far as that goes. For our weekend in New Orleans, what does this mean? First of all, it means that Tommy Sweeney's going to get to make the show, y'all.
Hell yeah, Tommy! He doesn't have to change his plans. Fucking
Tommy was worried. He's bringing in a dog. He's coming from like the Carolinas somewhere, and he said, "We're driving that day. My hotel's not even available until like 4. If the show's at 2:00, I'm gonna be screwed. You know what am I gonna do?"
So well, they said afternoon at first, and it's at 7 p.m. Afternoon, 7
p.m. is not afternoon. Yeah. But he also said it's going to be about a 90-minute show is what he's expecting. So like we'll be out of there at a very reasonable time. Folks in New Orleans don't start to have dinner until 9 anyway. So you're good. You're good. It's going to be such a good weekend, y'all. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm working right now on some group tours that we'll be able to book. Hopefully I'll be able to put a link in the show notes or whatever, and you'll be able to book your tour and be part of a Articulate Coven specific group tour. There is an excellent tour guide named Rose Sinister who does vampire specific tours. She's a vampire historian. So that's who we're going to be working with, hopefully. I'm waiting on the details for that to get her the most money possible out of it. I don't want to foul up her gig. She worked for a company. So obviously there are like hoops to jump through there. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to try to do a live recording. My initial place that I had looked for, and I thought, well, that'll be good enough. First of all, it's limited to like, it would only house about 35 people. So now I'm looking for a slightly bigger venue. I've got some really good ideas I'm going to track down this week. I'm hoping to give you all more information for that. But in my mind, I was shooting for, if the event's going to be 7:00 on Saturday, I'm shooting for us to have our live recording on Sunday afternoon sometime. Now, somebody pointed out, how afternoon? Because I'll be flying out on Sunday. Very good point. We'll try to go as early as we can stomach and as early as I can find a venue so that those of you that are flying out could still get out of town at a reasonable time. But that'll be the plan. And if we miss you, I'm sorry. We'll do a live stream. We'll put the episode up right away for patrons. You all get to see it anyway. So that's the loose plan. Check out all the stuff in the show notes. Make sure you book your hotel room already so you're ahead of time and ready for Anne's ticket sales that go on for July 11th.
Whoa, Lord.
Yeah, there you go. Homework.
We're going to have to fuck with Ticketmaster, y'all.
Listen, if I fought fascists today, I can fight Ticketmaster on July 11th,
you can, Joel.
Ashley.
You fucking can.
Yeah, we can. Yes, we can.
Fuck Nazis and Ticketmaster.
So look, it's vampires, Nazis, bitchy mother-in-laws, Ticketmaster somewhere in between Nazis and mother-in-laws, I think, probably.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe above mother-in-laws. I don't know. Terrible mother-in-laws. I say I've got a wonderful mother-in-law.
One too.
There are just really terrible ones out there.
There are. We are lucky. We are #blessed.
Blessed.
Thank God.
All right, y'all. Until the next time we talk to you, when we're talking about Tarquin and the big house over on Blackwood Manor. We'll be back to that next week. Until then, we've been your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Oh, Ashley, 2 weeks in a row, we've done this fucking show, and I forgot to mention out loud about my new do. And you know, I'm just bitchy enough to point out that nobody said anything about it in the video comments on the last episode. Do you like my hairdo, people? There you go. Now, that's in the episode.
Yeah. Joel's looking top knotted and adorbs. Give him some love.
I need applause to live, people.
Tinkerbell needs his applause. God damn it.
Thank you for sharing this time with the Articulate Coven. Support the show as either a free or paid member at articulatecoven.com/join. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Find more from the Coven with our sister show, Flan Again, covering the works of Mike Flanagan.